Hey Franco, I need to share this with you, uh, and I think it describes our relationship somehow. Something of the, this is pure intuition, but the way that I'm hurting you when my addiction, I think, is really closely related to this idea that I came to a couple of days ago that might be like it's one of the final like fully formed ideas that I need to take away from addiction that I finally have. Like, it's drawing to a close, and this is obvious in. Uh, I don't want to. What I'm getting to is that as I'm let me just focus on what I have to say. I need to share this with you, even if it doesn't describe a relationship. Even if I'm totally wrong about that, I can tell that I'm just supposed to share this right now. So, here's what it is. It's a relationship. Es una relación entre dos cosas en la cual no se tocan ni se no tocan. Touching and not touching, or neither open nor closed, able to influence each other, but not to directly like exert cause and effect between them. So, and this is my model of that relationship. I just tore this page. I know everything's blurry. Don't worry about it. So imagine these to be like, I call this shape cornerstone, like a circle with one corner at a right angle. And these, imagine them to be made of metal and having a magnetic charge that's the same, so that they repel each other, so that they're never actually touching. But they're interlocking like this, making it so that they can't run away from each other and stop being related either. So that's the essential quality of this relationship. Not touching, but also can't escape each other. And so the other thing is, and I don't really understand why this has to be, I sort of do. The shape of them, the fact that they're not just, that the loops are larger on one end and then narrowing to a point, that really is to indicate that the field that they produce is doing that, is, thick and strong and steady, and then it fades away to nothing right at the point on one side. So what I figured out, this is the relationship between Earth and Faerie. So for me, and this, I think it's, for this relationship to work as it's supposed to, one of the two has to be stationary. And also I think you need like a force of gravity, like something apart from the magnetism acting on the system. So for me, the earth side of me is stationary, because I'm physical, embodied in earth. And yeah, so basically there's two states that this system produces that it can come to rest in. And there's a wormhole in my body between the two sides, the left and right hand paths. And what I found is that this, I'm really fucking self-conscious of this. I feel like I'm just hurting you more by like throwing stuff at you that you're not going to understand. But I just ask that you listen and try to understand. And believe me and hope that I'm right, that this is somehow important and maybe even is an act of atonement, I hope. So there's two states, and so basically what the white cornerstone is still, and the dark one, you can't quite see clearly, but they are interlocking. The thin end of the black one is underneath the thin end of the white one. So one of them is this one, which is like what I would call down, based on the orientation of the black one that's free to rotate. And then the other one would be the other way, where instead of the two big ends being closer together, the two little ends, or not the two little ends, the little end of the white one, but the thick end of the black one will be together in the up orientation. So that mediates the open and closed of the wormhole between the two parts of my body, or between Earth and Faerie, or between anything that's related like this. So if it's in the state with the two big parts closer, I think I think that the two loops are actually at right angles then, that it rests in like a right angle way. And then I think the other state is actually just 30 degrees closer. I think that they're still 60 degrees apart from the repulsion between them in the up state. So it's small but significant and noteworthy. And like what I have to do to make this start to work is that I have to let the one be stationary, and I have to not have any spin on the one that's free to rotate. So basically this is about me not using and like allowing the totality of my body, not just my body, but also, the fall, the Earth and Faerie, to be so that the Earth one is stationary and the other one is not spinning, because you can imagine how the black one could be made to spin like around the axis in the middle of the loop. Like, how can I describe that? You probably know what I'm trying to say, but here. So the loop of the scissors is the loop, the cornerstone, the black one. So I'm talking about spinning like this, spinning around the loop spinning around the other loop that's stationary. So, it's a lot harder to stop the spinning than it is to stop to get the white one stable. But they really are part of the same thing, and really, like, as soon as I have upspin, I can again control which state it's in. So it's not nearly as big a deal as I'm thinking it is. Like, it's not like I'm signing up to have no upspin for a long period of time, even though part of me thinks I am and worries that I am. And that worry, of course, is an expression of what drives me to run away from recovery and not commit to that yet. But understanding, like, finally at last, like, the whole system of my body, and like what needs to happen, what I'm supposed to be doing. Of course, I won't be able to remember this at the beginning of my recovery, because I won't have the upspin, the brain power, the energy to access these things that I came to while I was high. Because it's like my brain working at its fastest when I'm high. It's like being manic. Like, I won't, but like, if I can fully learn and internalize the whole model before I start my real final ultimate recovery that's going to last, then I can trust the whole process, and I can, God willing, I will be able to call to mind, like, little relevant details of like what I need to know at a given point. Like, I'll be struggling with something, and then I'll, like, reach a sort of breaking point and reach out to God and, like, and be given the little fact, the little detail